Interactive, where we talk about making great music, connecting with your audience, and growing your business. And I want to welcome you musicians to Indie Interactive today. And I am trying something completely new here with my setup. So I'd love to find out what you guys think. It's completely new for me to be here on screen with this slide and everything. I'm just going to try this because I think it'd be fun. In the future, if I like this, I will start doing more slide backgrounds so I can kind of do like mini webinars in a way while we're doing this on Facebook Live. So I thought it would be fun. So I'm just going to kind of pull this stuff up and get ready for what we're going to do today. So we're going to talk about electronic press kits. And I want to say hi to Beth and Sarah, who showed up so far. This is a great subject because we're kind of in website week here in Indie Interactive and the Female Entrepreneur Musician, because we are, doing a contest with Bandzoogle right now. We are doing a workshop with Bandzoogle on Wednesday. If you guys haven't seen the invites, be sure that you get caught up with all of that. You'll find it in your email, in your Messenger. If you signed up for the contest, there'll be an invite inside of the Female Indie Musician Community group. So make sure you're signed up for that, because we're going to be talking about how to create a really professional looking website, one that is going to really present you well to your potential fans, potential press and bookers that are looking to promote you in some way. And that's kind of what we're talking about today. One of the pages you can have on your website is an electronic press kit. And I think it's so important to discuss the point of an EPK and why we need one and what you need to include in it. So before I get started, I just want to check in with everybody and find out from you guys that are here, do you have an EPK right now? Do you have an electronic press kit on your website? And I want to mention too also that on Wednesday, Allison is going to be showing you how easy it is to set up a website really fast. Like, she's going to actually do it live online with us while we're in the workshop, and you can ask her any kind of questions that you have about how you set up certain things in their platform at Bandzoogle. So just looking to see if I'm getting updates here on your guys' comments, because I want to make sure that you guys can hear me and see me and everything with this new setup before oh great. Beth says, Bree, wow, that's cool. Okay, yep, see, my husband's been playing around with tech this weekend, and it was really fun to set this up. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the content here and talk about our EPKs. So, and good morning also to Victoria. Any of you guys that show up, just say hi in the comments. I'd love to see that you're here. And again, I was asking, do you guys have electronic press kits on your website? I would love to know how many of you have one. If you have one, but you need it to be updated, if you're not sure what to put on it, or maybe you don't even have a website, this is a perfect conversation for us. Okay, so great. So glad you're here, Victoria. And so I'm not going to have like a ton of slides this time, but if you guys like this, I will actually put my notes on the slide next time instead of having them kind of here in front of me. But right now I just have a few like little prompters of what we're going to be talking about inside of this training. So, and I'm also just getting used to this. Oh, I need to switch the slide kind of thing, how it all works. So here we go. See, isn't that cool? Changes the, let's see, did it work? Maybe it didn't work. Let's see. Okay. Obviously, I'm going to have to learn how to use this because it's definitely not changing the slide. There we go. Okay. It's just, oh, I know what the problem is. Sorry, I'm probably going crazy with the changing of the slides because I see him looking on Facebook and I see a delay. So anyway, there we go. So who is it for? So let's talk about who our electronic press kit is for. First of all, it's for venues. It's for any people that you're trying to book with, whether it's local venues, you're trying to book a tour, festivals, small to large venues, it's just a really convenient place for them to go and get the whole gist about you, because you're not going to want to put all that stuff in an email. It gets too overwhelming if you put that information in an email. People are just going to say, send me to somewhere I could get all the info that I need. So that is one thing an EPK is for. A second thing that an EPK is for is for press. So if you guys are looking to get some press, whether it's a review, whether it's getting a story written about you, whether you're wanting to get an event promoted in press, it's really, really helpful to have an EPK, because press people are super busy and they don't have time to be chasing you down for pictures and quotes and things like that they need, or your bio, pieces of information about the story that they're trying to write. So if you have that all in an EPK, you can just send them there. It makes it so easy for them. And if you make their life easy, they're going to be much more likely to write about you. Okay, thirdly, they are for radio stations. So people like me, okay, so when I do the podcast, I like to say a little something about each artist, but I am not going to go through the trouble of emailing every artist and asking them to get their bio and all that stuff. I want to be able to just grab that right, where I can find it, where I know that their website is. I can just pull that up really easily on Google, and there's going to be a tab there that says EPK, and I can just grab all the info I need. I can check out stuff I want to say about them in their bio. I can for some reason they're advertising with us and I don't have their picture, I can grab that. So all of that stuff would be available to me as somebody that is curating for radio or podcast or a blog or anybody like that, so they don't have to chase people down. Because if they're on a tight schedule, like I often am, I don't have time to chase that stuff down, and I have somebody else doing my research. So if it is in a place where it's easily found, then I'm going to be much more likely to say something about the artist. Okay, so I'm still asking the question of you guys because I'm looking to see if you guys have an EPK. I'd love to know from you if you have one right now. Let's see. I also have a website, but no EPK. So, your website is kind of an EPK, but it's not condensed. They have to click around. They have to find the information that they need. So the reason that I love an EPK is it's just a one-stop shop for whoever needs it. So Victoria also says she has a website, but she needs an EPK. So really helpful. That lets me know where you guys are at. And I will definitely ask Allison about the EPK feature on Bandzoogle for our Wednesday workshop, because she can show you, the different kinds of templates that they have. All right, so let's go into the mindset of the people that are visiting your EPK. And this is really important because you need to think like the person that's coming to see it, not like you yourself. So, when they're coming to see your website, they need a quick fix of what you are all about. And so when you approach your EPK, once you create it, you need to approach it from the standpoint of somebody that doesn't know anything about you. When they first see your EPK, is it going to be clear what you're about, what your branding is about? Do you have certain kinds of colors and fonts that you use? Do you have certain kinds of pictures that, have just portray a certain kind of feeling about the kind of artist that you are? If so, then you're getting your branding across. Also, you're going to want to put newsworthy items in there. And this goes back to what I was saying about my podcast. I want the person that's researching for me to be able to go to one page, grab some really interesting tidbits about the person that I might want to say on the podcast, and be done. Quick, 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 right? So make sure if you've got any awards, if you've done any notable performances, that you have that information there. If you've performed with anyone famous, these type of things don't make or break your career, but it's helpful to anchor people. If you were on, in some kind of really, well-known competition, it just helps to kind of give people an idea of what you've done, and that other people have recognized you. And that comes to the third thing, which is social proof. You want to make sure that it's showing that other people value what you're doing, that this person that's visiting your EPK is not the only one that's looking into you as an artist, not the only one that's considering booking you. You can show that, oh, I've been at these events, I've been in these festivals, I've performed at these locations. Other people have said things about me, fans or press have said these really cool things about me. It just helps provide social proof. So the person that's looking at the EPK is like, oh, there's really something going on with this artist. Lots of people like what they're doing. So that is where you need to think about the social proof of what you're providing on your EPK. So let's see what's going on in here. Let's see. Yes, so Beth is one of the ones that does artist research for me. So she definitely appreciates it when you have all the stuff in one place. Okay, and again, anybody new that's showing up, I'd love to find out if you guys have an EPK and if you're using it in your promotion of yourself to bookers, to radio stations, to press. All right, so the big question. What do we need to put on this EPK, right? What kind of content do we need to have on an EPK to be representing us as well? And before I get into that, important thing is I highly recommend that you have your EPK as one of the links at the top or on the side of your navigation for your website. Now, number one, it's on its own page, and you can link directly to that. But if someone just comes to your website, make sure that they see, oh, EPK. If I click that, I know I'm going to get all the information that I need. So make sure that you do that. Now, the first thing that you need for a good EPK is a good bio. So I recommend to my students that you have a short bio and a long bio. And this is because people often need a short bio either because they're in a hurry and they just want to get a gist, or because they need something to introduce you with. I know I use this for my podcast when I'm interviewing artists. I ask them for a 3-sentence bio. I use this myself when I'm going on other podcasts. I use this when I'm being introduced at a performance. And so you definitely need to have that short bio and then a longer bio if they want to dive into more of, okay, I want to know more details about this person. Okay, so Shanna says, I don't have an EPK. I have to learn more. Awesome. Well, that's what we're here for. So great to see you here, Shanna. Okay, so the bio. And again, like about the bio, make sure that it's not, I started playing piano when I was 3. I've been singing since I could talk. All those details that everybody else has. I recommend you go and look around at other people's bios, because I'm going to tell you, I've read a million. Beth has read a million. And there are just these cliche phrases that people use. And I don't want you guys to get caught up in that. You want to say something that's unique about you off the bat so people will remember you. Okay, so let's see. Album art. Really important to have album art in there, because if they want to highlight you, they want to go grab your album art and put it on, an article they're doing, or maybe it's a radio station and they need to have, your album art showing when your song is playing. Just make it really easy for them to grab it. And while we're talking about pictures, which I'm going to get into in a minute, I want to mention that you should have several different sizes of them. So maybe someone just needs a tiny one. Maybe someone needs a really high definition one. You need to have all those available so they can grab what it is they need. If they're putting you in a newspaper, they're going to need a high definition picture. If they're putting you on a website and they don't want to use up a lot of their storage space, then they're going to want a medium size picture. They're not going to want one that's like 4 megabytes large. Another thing you can do is put the large files behind a password protected section and offer that to people that are going to need those high quality files, which I'll talk about in a minute. But just make sure that you have different versions available. And now that we're talking about pictures, When you think about your pictures, make sure that you've got different sizes. You know, you've got some that are landscape, some that are portrait, you know, some that are big, some that are small. Maybe you have one that's black and white. Have ones that will work well for the different mediums that they're going to be used in. So as far as pictures, like, I don't want you to just put every single picture that you have up there. That is just going to be confusing. The point of an EPK is to offer a good sampling of the best of what you have. So put a few of your really good pictures. If you've got a band, I would put a picture of each member or put a picture of you guys together. But you know, if you're focusing on a particular lead singer or something, that have a separate picture of them. But make sure that you don't just put every picture in the book. You know, put a few of your really good ones that you would want to be published somewhere. If you have a couple of candids, that's cool. If you like them, you can use those as two. That they might want to use those in an article or something, but do not put too many. You know, 5 or 6 pictures is going to be plenty. And then, like I said, you can put some behind a password protected wall, or, you know, in a Dropbox where people can go get the really high res if they need those things. Okay, so let's talk about videos. Definitely should have a couple videos on there. If you've got an actual music video, then definitely put that on there. If you've got a good performance video, put that on there as well, and make sure you label those things. Make sure that, you know, they know, okay, this is a performance video, this is a music video, and then maybe you have a promo video. Maybe you've done a cool, like, marketing style video for your album where you talk about the songs and how you created them and all that. I highly recommend that you put that on there as well. And speaking of files, I forgot to mention this when we were talking about photos. And, you know, people may download your videos, I'm not sure, but make sure that you name your files things that people can understand. Don't name them, you know, IMG123765. You know, they're going to put that in their files, and then they're not going to be able to find it. Make sure that your file names, when you upload them to your EPK, are names that they understand. You know, your band name dash, you know, acoustic live performance, or, you know, whatever it is, or headshot. You know, make sure that they can understand what they are once they've downloaded them, you know, because sometimes they're in a hurry and they haven't downloaded them to a specific file with your name on it or anything. So make sure that those make a lot of sense to people later on. So as I said, a few different kinds of videos if you have those. And then let's talk about audio. So with audio, you want to have a few really good samples of your work. You know, if you've got a few albums, you can do, you know, 1 or 2 songs from each album. Just make sure that you don't give them the whole gamut of it, because it's too much. They're going to be overwhelmed by it. And you can even add like a little player on that page that just has like 3 or 4 songs. And so they can click it and kind of listen to it while they're browsing through the rest of your EPK. But make sure that you don't offer way too many songs and make it overwhelming. Offer your absolute best, and don't put samples. I definitely recommend you put full-length songs there. Now, you do not need to offer downloads on your EPK. That's where you can offer to send them to a separate thing like a Dropbox that has the same, you know, all the high-res photos and bigger items in there, where you can put your WAV files or your MP3 files if they're for radio. But on your EPK page, definitely offer streaming some of your best songs and the entire song, so they can really get a good idea of if it's something they'd want to play on their station, or if it's, you know, something that would fit well for their audience if it's a venue. So when you do put things into a Dropbox and offer them to people, and you can send them a direct link to that when you're emailing the people, make sure that all of your audio files have the metadata embedded. So, you know, when it comes up, when they download it and they play it, it comes up and it has your information in there. They know exactly who it's from, what album, what song title, all that stuff needs to be embedded as metadata into your song titles. And you can do that with things like iTunes. You can do that with MP3 tag. different kinds of programs will embed metadata for you. You can just look that up on Google to make sure that you know how to do that. I even did a podcast way back when, about 2 years ago, about doing metadata. So you can look that up as well at femmusician.com. But yeah, just make sure that you have all that included on your data when you offer that to people with the full files. And I recommend you do WAV files and MP3. Someone like me, I want MP3 files. But if they have a program where they just need WAV files, then they're going to need to have those as well. And those are going to be things you're going to want to have in a Dropbox somewhere. Okay, so let's see what is next. Okay, press. So if you have a press release, you want to put your press release up on this EPK page, because if they're going to write an article on you, it's just really easy if they go and use all the information inside that press release to write the article. Then they won't need to follow up with you and ask more questions if those questions are kind of already answered in your press release. So you don't have to have a press release. And I'm not the biggest fan of like sending out tons of press releases, but if you're gonna write one, definitely put it on your EPK. Also, I would definitely put press and fan quotes on your EPK. This was really important for me. I would put press and fan quotes and booking quotes on all of my flyers, on my EPK, all over my website, because people just need to know, they need to see that social proof, and it just helps them say like, oh, okay, this person's legit, So make sure that you've got some really good quotes on there. They don't have to be long. They can be super, short. Just be sure and credit so they know who it's from, especially if it's from a certain venue or if it's from a certain press. Fan quotes are really cool too, because it shows that you actually have people that are listening and enjoying your music. So I definitely recommend you put fan quotes up there. Okay, sound alikes. Now, some people have a problem with putting sound alikes, but I think it's really important because, they need to know what to expect from you. If you say like, if you like this band, you'll like us, then it really helps them know what kind of style you are. You don't have to get too clever with it. Just list a few that you've really been influenced by or that you sound like. And if you don't know who you sound like, then I recommend that you ask some of your fans to give you some sound alikes. That can be a really good way to get that information if you just can't come up with it yourself. Then also you need to put who you play, who you've played for or where you've played, and list the venues that are. You don't have to list every single one. List the most notable ones. List the most notable. Maybe you've opened for certain other acts. Stations you've been played on, press that you've been featured in. List those, because that is going to be really good for social proof as well. Okay, and be sure, you guys, if you have any questions about the things that I'm saying in here, put them in the chat, and I'll go through that in a minute because I'm almost done going through this. I just want to cover a couple more things. So also, you definitely want to put a contact form. Your contact form at the bottom or even at the top, make sure that once they say, yep, this artist is for me, that they can contact you. It's up to you if you want to put an actual email address on there. Sometimes that can attract spammers. So maybe you can write it out with spaces so it's not easy to grab that email address, or you can just put a contact form. I know that's what Bandzoogle recommends. Okay, so on to downloads. There are some helpful downloads that you can offer on your EPK page that are really going to make life easier for all of the people that you're working with. So number one is a one sheet. I'm curious in the chat if any of you guys have a one sheet or know what it is, because I've shared with you guys before in the past my one sheet, and it's been really, really helpful. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go. Oh, nice to see you, Sue. Just kind of checking in and seeing who has showed up since I said hi last time. Nice to say hi to Deborah and Joan and Christina. Yeah, just put any questions you have in here. I'll scroll through these when I'm done, because I'm seriously almost done with this, with all the content. So a one sheet is basically a single sheet that has the most relevant information. And in a way, it's kind of like a flyer that I've mentioned before, but it's more for press. So, it has a picture, it has, the short bio, it has some quotes on it. And depending on what it's for, maybe if it's for a radio interview, you can put some talking points on there. You can mention a few highlights, newsworthy highlights from your career on there as well. But it's all located in one place, including your contact info, your website, all of that. And that can be a really helpful download to offer as a PDF. So people can just go and grab that PDF right away off your EPK and have that in front of them when, maybe they're interviewing you, and they have all of that information at their fingertips. And they don't have to go and go back and look at your website or anything anymore, because it's all right there. Another thing that is nice to have as a download, but you don't have to, is any album notes. So if you have all the lyrics from your album, or all the credits, or anything that you would want people to know about your album, you can have that as a download, a PDF download. And if you've created that for your album, it's really easy to turn that into a PDF and have that available as a download. And then, as I said, creating that Dropbox or box.net, where you have all of the larger files that you can give people a link to access to if they need them, including high-res photos and bigger audio files and stuff like that. Okay, so my last tip to you is make sure this thing is updated. I can't tell you how many times I have looked at someone's EPK and it says like, new album just released January 2014, and I'm like, okay, so every piece of information on here is old. I don't see the point of me even going into this information, or even using this information, because it's all totally old. So make sure that you update every 3 months. And that's another reason to use some website provider like Bandzoogle, because they can, you have access to update that stuff anytime you want. You don't have to wait for a web designer. Can't tell you how many people that I've talked to who are like, I really want to update my website, but I need my web guy to do it, and he's backed up and he's got too many other projects. So make sure that you've got a solution, whether it's Bandzoogle or something else. You can use something like Squarespace or WordPress that you can easily update yourself instead of having to ask every time you want to make minimal changes. And set up something in your calendar to do a review of your EPK and all your bios every 3 months, because I know you guys put your info other places. You may have it on Reverb Nation, or Sonic Bids, or BroadJam, or Music X-Ray, other places. And if you don't remember to update every single place, then you're going to have differing information all over the internet. And I know it can be kind of a pain. So one thing you can do is just put on all those other places, see my EPK, and put a link to your EPK. Okay, so I'm going to jump in with some questions. Several other people have joined as we were going along the way. And of course, you can go back and watch this again to get all the details. I also, this comes out as a podcast on Wednesdays, so you can re-listen to it at femmusician.com. And I just want to mention, before I get into the questions, about the Bandzoogle contest and workshop that we're having this Wednesday. If you haven't entered the contest yet, make sure to go to femmusician.com/contest, and you can enter to win. Actually, I'm sorry, it's not that. It's femmusician.com/win. That's what it is. femmusician.com/win. If you haven't entered already, we're going to give that away on Wednesday. And let's see. Looks like Jesse's here too. Great to see you guys. So got a bunch of questions, so I'm going to go through those. Would you be able to post examples of a good EPK? So one sheet, etc. I can definitely post a one sheet in the Academy. I've actually posted it before in the Facebook group before, but I can put that under our press section. And Allison is going to be showing some good examples on Wednesday for sure. But I can go grab, I know that Van Zugel has a whole blog post about the best looking EPKs. You can look that up, or I can try to go grab that link as well that they have. Let's see. I think, okay, can be considered a one sheet. Let's see. Yeah, so I can post that one sheet, Carol, for you to see what mine looks like. Now mine is, the one I have is about podcasting. I don't happen to have a digital copy of my original flyer that I used to use, but it's basically like a one sheet, which I've described before. Yeah. So Beth says she has all the information, she just needs to condense it. And I think that's true about a lot of us, that we've got it all, but it's kind of in separate areas of our website. And that's a step in the right direction. Like at least you have it on your website. But having an EPK just makes it so much easier just to send people to that one page so they don't have to be hunting. Let's see. Cool. Sarah has a one sheet. Yeah, and it's like that's another thing that you can put on your quarterly updates, is to update your one sheet every quarter. Because sometimes, you know, we have a new album that comes out, or we play a new gig. And we need to get that onto our one sheet as well. Yeah, I think you definitely should have a one sheet for the conference, Sue. No pressure, right? It's next week, I know. But I think that will be really, really useful for you. Oh, good. Jessie has a one sheet. Awesome. Deborah has a one sheet. I know we went through talking about one sheets a while back, and I showed you guys mine, and it looks like some of you guys really created your one sheet, which is awesome. Let's see. Just scrolling through these to see if there are any other questions. Social proof under a tab labeled testimonials. Yes, you can keep that there. I think you should have its own tab, but it's nice to put a few of those quotes onto your EPK as well. But it's very good to have a testimonials tab, I think. Best way to send EPK to folks as a link in an email. Absolutely. That's the great part about EPKs. You just send out a link and you don't have to send them anything. And then if it's somebody that you know is going to need those high-res photos, like a you know, a press agent or a radio station that's going to need the full-on audio, then you can just send them a link to your box.net or Dropbox file, and they can just go grab that. So links and emails is the best way to go. Don't send big pictures and audios in an email unless someone asked you for it. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back up to the top here and see if there are any other questions. I also use one page link so info is all in one place. Great, that's exactly what we're talking about here. Van Zugel is awesome. I have everything basically up there, but I need help setting up my store. Okay, definitely come to the workshop on Wednesday, Carol, or at least register if you can't make it live, because she's going to go through all that. She's going to show you how easy it is to set up your store. You can sell merch online or offline, which is cool. You can sell everything, including CDs, digital downloads, t-shirts, all that stuff. So let's see, you guys have any more questions? It's been really great with all the questions you guys have today. What do you think of this background? Like, I'm still getting used to, I'm looking at getting a green screen, because if you look at my hair, it looks really strange right there behind my hair, but we're working on it. It's a work in progress, but it's fun. And in the future, I can actually do a full webinar this way with all the slides and everything. So I think that could be really fun, and it also helped me with my notes. You know, if I don't have to look down at my notes and have all of our notes up here, then you guys can read them. You don't have to ask, oh, what was that last point she made, you know, and it'll just make it a lot easier to do these kinds of Facebook Lives that I do every Monday. So let's just see what you guys, oh, hey, Tracy, great to see you. So just a reminder, okay, let's see. Yeah, the store. Okay, good. So you guys should all come to the workshop on Wednesday because Allison is a pro and she will show you how fast she can set up the store, which is amazing. I think it's intimidating. I know when I started setting up my sample website, it was like, oh, the store seems like a big, complicated thing, but she'll show you how it's not. All right, so that is all of our content today. Thank you guys so much for coming. It's been really fun to try out this new system here and to see all you guys and not have to worry about my connection crapping out. So you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. And remember to continue to make great music, connect with your audience, and grow your business. Bye, guys.